Welcome everyone. My name is Jennifer Kimlar-Vidovic. I am 27 and in today's video I want to share with you my experiences, my steps on how to manifest and get everything you want in your life. I'm a little nervous because this is my first ever video where I talk about manifestation, where I talk about prayer, where I mention how good it is for you to journal everything out, your emotions, to not suppress or store them inside of your body. And I just want to jump right into it and start with my own awakening journey so that maybe one of you or can relate to that or find themselves in a similar situation right now. And yeah, so there we go. So 2018, I was very depressed. I was extremely captivated and stuck in my life situation. When I was 12, I started to become anorexic and I developed so many different eating disorders and toxic relationships. I got bullied and slut shamed, and I was just in a very dark place mentally, physically, and emotionally. I did not believe in spirit, I did not believe in God or the universe and the energies, you know. But yeah, then in September 2018, I was already in university for 4 years, did so many jobs on the side, was fully in my binge eating, overworking period, and then suddenly something happened and I had a massive breakdown. I literally completely collapsed and lost my consciousness for 20 minutes. And during those dark 20 minutes where I was fully awake, I, for the first time ever in my life, got in touch with which is called consciousness or the divine field, all-knowing universal intelligence. I didn't know that back then, but more to that later. And yeah, so I was sitting in the car, lost my consciousness, and God spoke to me, just pack your bags, quit everything. If you want to become happy, you have to go. And I didn't know where to go, but the power of this voice was so strong that immediately in my entire body and heart, I knew this is what I have to do. So I quit my job, I quit my university, and based on personal life situations, I didn't tell anyone that I was going. I just spoke with my brother who already was in Australia. I was 22 back then, still lived with my mother, and had no money. And what I did then was I told him, okay, I have to come, there's no other way. I sold everything I had and I literally had $1,600, jumped in the plane 3 months later, arrived in Australia. It was extremely hard. I was working in kitchen factory for 2 months and then as a waitress for half a year. But I felt some sense of self for the first time in my life, and I knew I'm on the right path. And God's voice was just telling me it's gonna be extremely hard for you because I have no degree. Um, well, I didn't finish university, obviously, and I had all these traumas inside of me. So I didn't know back then about manifestation. I didn't know that whatever you tell yourself will manifest into your reality. So I was full of so much negative past experiences and trauma. My mindset wasn't that positive, and I was just like so lost in my past that I wasn't capable of creating a brighter future. Um, yeah, so anyways, while I was in Australia, I started to really like spend more time with myself, away from family, away from friends, away from everything I have known so far. And that felt liberating. And my inner voice was like, I just want to find my home. What is this life? Like, what am I supposed to do with my time here? And then I started reading, I started observing nature more, I met different people, and everything was so inspiring for me back then. And I just knew that if I ever want to become happy in this life, I have to heal myself. I have to find out what is triggering me. I have to find out what is dragging me down. And I wanted to start my own business. That was my dream. Back then I wanted to model, like many girls probably want to do, and but of course I had so many insecurities. It didn't manifest that fast. Anyways, so back to Germany with my brother. I'm originally from there, and we were trying to start our own business. Nothing happened. It all didn't work out. All of our money was gone again, and I was like, I just woke up one morning and everything inside of me told me, okay, Jen, fly to Hollywood and start acting. And for some reason I was very insecure and very much a people pleaser, but after I experienced God's voice for the first time, I was so confident in trusting that voice that when it spoke to me for the second time, I didn't doubt it. I didn't second guess it. So I started to prepare myself, started to reach out to agencies, trying to figure everything out. Again, all the money was gone, and for some reason, with the exact same amount of money, 1,600 euros, I flew to America and tried everything I could. I slept in like a shared Airbnb, a tiny room, was running from audition to audition, and I was so proud of myself just because I realized, oh my goodness, you just need to have this massive trust, and then you need to jump into the unknown in a leap of faith and just believe that it will work out for you. So anyways, I was in LA auditioning, feeling some stronger sense of self, and then COVID came, of course, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm here now, almost no money, I will not make any money anytime soon. So I prayed, and then just randomly a woman called me, and she was like, hey, listen, I'm living on a farm in Texas, just jump in the plane. So I did jump in that plane, and I arrived a couple hours before Donald Trump back then closed all the borders. And I was devastated, honestly, because I'm like, I thought, oh my goodness, how old was I? I think 24. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm here now in Texas, I have no income, no money, what do I do? And for some reason, God told me to start writing. So again, I trusted, and I was living on the farm for. Okay, guys, welcome back. Sorry, I switched the setup because my memory was full, and then, well, I decided to do something else. So I went to the beach and everything, had some nice dinner. So now it's already dark outside, but yeah, here I am back, fresh and recharged. So I was just speaking about how I ended up in Texas, and in Texas, I actually started writing my first own book. And while I was doing that, I decided to live off grid completely. So I had no phone, no WhatsApp, no access to any sort of technology, television, radio. I didn't even check the time once in an entire month. And that was one of my, well, no, I am someone who's constantly doing self-experiments, but this was one of the most profound self-experiences I ever had, because if you live off-grid for a month on a farm without technology, without checking the time, without checking your phone once, you will feel liberated. I can tell you that much. And all the experiences I had, I wrote them down and I reflected on my life for the first time. And that book is called The Awareness Raising Revolution, The Captivity Century. I will put a link to the Amazon page where you can purchase if you want, down below. So yeah, and then I came back to Germany. I told you guys already, and I continued writing, wrote 5 more books. And then actually what happened, I was extremely burned out because, well, I had a very strict routine, but I also had my second or third big spiritual awakening, because while I was sitting back again in Germany in my mother's house, in my small childhood room, I was desperate. I was desperate, I was angry, I was dissatisfied, I was frustrated, and I was just thinking, how will I ever realize my dreams? How will I ever be able to make money with being an artist? Well, my acting, my modeling dreams, everything crashed because due to COVID. And well, I had those 6 books done written, and no literary agency wanted to work with me. I literally called more than 150, and everyone said, no, this is too depressed, we cannot sell that. Then I called libraries. I thought maybe they would put it, but they like said the same. So there I was. Couple failed businesses, and well, a failed acting career so far, and no one wanted to publish my books. So what do I do? During those 2 years, I was reading a lot of books. I started to meditate and to pray, and then God just told me, okay, it's time to like focus on something else for a while. And that kind of simultaneously happened with my grandma becoming sick. So for 5 months, from January till June, till the beginning of June, middle of June, I took care about my grandma because she was very old and she passed away. And I kid you not, guys, this was the most amazing time in my entire life, because I just was in service for someone else every single day for such a long period of time in my life. And it was eye-opening. I went to Bible lesson, I went to church, I meditated sometimes 4 hours a day. I took care about the cooking, about maintaining her and everything. And it was beautiful. And I was there until 8 hours before her soul went to heaven. And it was just magical. And then there I was alone again, and this time also homeless because, well, I got kicked out of the house, but that's a different story. So I was homeless, and I was traveling with my brother. We had a car our grandma left for us and a tent, and we went to Italy for a couple months, and we slept on friends' couches, and just some small serendipity moments happened, and just people offered us to stay with them for a while, so that's what we did. And then another serendipitous moment happened, and I ended up at Hamburg, and I was working in a coffee place there for 6 weeks, and I got some modeling jobs in Amsterdam, and it went sort of well, and I was like, oh wow, my prayer come to fruition, it's finally working. And then suddenly, from one to the other day, after I was opening a runway show in Amsterdam, I flew to Curacao because afterwards I got fired, and I was like, oh, okay. But at that point, I was already like, I saw like a repetitive thing going on in my life, and I gained already enough trust to, whenever my intuition is telling me something, I just immediately follow. And my intuition told me to go to Curacao. And on Curacao, I was for a couple of months, and I was teaching yoga and meditation. I had an amazing, amazing time. I love Curacao. And then it was my time again. Everything opened up. COVID was basically over, to go back to America. And this time, somehow, everything magically worked out. I arrived in Los Angeles, and 2 days later, I was on set for my first feature film. Of course, only a small role, but that didn't matter for me at all after years of trying and failing. And yeah, the entire year 2022, I spent most of my time in the United States. I was working on set. I was trying to figure things out with a visa. I went to acting class. I took method acting classes, and I was so spiritual that everything was just lining up for me, and it felt like the entire world was, well, basically helping me to achieve my goal of winning an Oscar. So what were my daily habits? So before I knew anything about how the quantum field works, stuff like that, I was just a very depressed person. And then when I started to educate myself, I basically had to relearn everything. I was just deleting my memory. And I read so many books about manifestations, affirmations, journaling, and prayers, and observation, and listening more than you talk, because you have one mouth and two ears for a reason, right? So basically, my daily habits include journaling in the mornings and prayers. Never leave the house without it. And I work out almost every day, or I go for a walk, or I do yoga or Pilates, just some movement, and a lot of water. And I love coffee, but I don't drink or smoke or anything. But I would say for me, journaling, praying, and really taking some time to move my body changed everything. Because in the mornings when I journal it all out. And I always include affirmations, and I say the things in a way that they already happened to me.
So I was in America for half a year. Things went very well. But then with my visa, I had some problems. So lived in Mexico for 6 weeks and then went to Toronto for 6 weeks. I had the best time of my life before I returned back to America. And then I sort of had the feeling, I mean, I was auditioning for bigger studios and everything. Sorry, guys, I'm sweating like crazy. I'm still in Sri Lanka and it's extremely hot. So yeah, I was auditioning again, took more acting classes, and I had a feeling I'm coming closer and closer and closer. Somehow, though, didn't book a big thing which would have given me my artist visa eventually. And then I left to London. I was living in London for 6 weeks and then left to Vancouver, where I stayed for a month and I was again on a farm. It felt kind of like a full circle moment because I grew up on a farm and then I ended up on a farm again and taking care of animals. That was very fulfilling and also very hard, of course. But yeah, somehow like my dream of becoming the biggest breakthrough star in cinematic history kind of like allowed me to never give up, and I always had so much motivation to get out of bed, and my life was extremely hard. But here I am now smiling and full of gratitude. But yeah, so and then at the beginning of 2020, sorry, I'm like jumping a bit, but my basically the entire thing happened from 2018, from September 2018 to where right now we're in November 2023. So 5 years old. 5 years. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. I just realized it. Wow. 5 years ago. So yeah, it was a very long way. And now I'm married and I own a software company and I'm still working on my acting dreams because somehow the universe is still telling me that everything I see for myself, like those big movies and trilogies and the red carpet and film festivals and all these things will come true. But you know what, guys? I completely stopped chasing it. I was auditioning more than 600 times and it's enough. So my strategy now is to have no strategy, to just focus on the things I can control and let go of everything else and just completely detach from my dreams and my desires, and let's see where that will take me. So, okay, this video was a bit wild, but it's my first long format video ever and I don't know where to start at all. So I just decided to jump in and throw some things on the table and then hope that people in the comments will guide me through it and will help me to, well, kind of like break it all down with whatever is of interest, if that makes sense. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching my first ever long format video here, and I hope you enjoyed this video and subscribe and leave a comment, and thank you. I would love to build a nice community here. Thank you so much. Bye bye.